STARBORN. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. If you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you would already know that the title of tonight's show is A Quick Change. And that is because there are two things that are happening right now in the heavens almost simultaneously. And we have to be aware of the force and the power of both of them, because they could both generate quick changes right now. And the first is that there are a number of planets in the fire signs. And in fact, there are 5 of them. And the fire signs love action, and they really like to sort of jump in and do things somewhat impulsively and really fast. And so there are 5 planets that are trining each other in the fire signs, and that includes 4, or a stellium of planets, in Sagittarius. And so Venus, the Sun, Mercury, and Saturn, which is at 29 degrees, the degree of fate in Sagittarius, are all trining Uranus in Aries. Of the 5 planets, 2 of them are retrograde, though. Uranus is retrograde in the sign of new beginnings, and Mercury, the planet of the mind, is retrograde in Sagittarius. And so Sagittarius rules long-distance travel, foreign countries. It rules the whole judicial system, and it rules certainly the courts, and it rules large international organizations. It also rules higher education, so it rules colleges and universities, and it rules religion and philosophy, and it certainly rules the ability to be aware of a lot of different cultures, particularly people from foreign countries or the whole country themselves. And Sagittarius does rule the whole Middle East, and in particular it does rule the country of Saudi Arabia. So there can be this dynamic interchange of 5 planets in the fire signs, but 2 of them are retrograde. And so that is an indication that there's going to have to be some sort of review or revision, perhaps of a new beginning. And if there is some sort of review of a new beginning, it would have to adhere to the legal precedents that had already been rather well established. So it might have to be reviewed by the courts or by legal scholars. So all of that can be going on right now, and we can be thinking about that. And yet at the same time, there could be some rather quick change coming about, because there can be agreements among parents. Excuse me, there are 6 planets in the fire signs. There's also the moon in Leo. And so that simply means that mothers and fathers or parents can be agreeing on sort of passing the baton to the next generation and fulfilling a long-planned change of some sort. In other words, it could be a quick change now, but it could have been in the works for quite a while, as somebody new could begin to assume the mantle of responsibility and duties that involve love, loyalty, and sacrifice. So there can be a quick change that perhaps has been a very long time coming. And at the same time, there's something else going on that we have to be aware of, and it is that there is a harsh T-cross among cardinal signs. And that is because Mars is now in Libra, but it has reached the fateful 29th degree of Libra. That's the last degree in the sign. And since Libra rules love and marriage and peace and partnership and the law and contracts, and Mars is there sort of stirring things up. It's been doing that for a while. And it is in very harsh opposition to Uranus in Aries. And since Uranus is retrograde and it's in the sign of new beginnings, and both planets are being squared by Pluto in Capricorn, which is another harsh aspect. So there is the possibility that once again a new beginning of some sort is going to be facing severe challenges right now. Remember, these 2 malefic planets, Mars and Uranus, are opposing each other. And because it can be some new beginning can be facing severe challenges right now, those there is the possibility that a new beginning cannot endure any longer, not just because of those challenges, but those challenges can be due to some sort of legal dispute that could be going on. And in fact, when Mars leaves Libra on Saturday and it goes into Scorpio, the sign that it rules, so it will be very strong, it will certainly mean that some sort of new beginning could even sort of fizzle out in one way or another. And we have to be a little bit careful about thinking or taking something for granted that maybe is subject to severe challenges and may not make it at all, either because it fizzles out or because there is such a heavy legal challenge to it that it cannot endure. So we do have to be thinking about that. So whether a quick change is the result of a review or a revision of all the things that the fire signs rule, or that in particular Sagittarius rules, whether that is going on right now and there is some quick change due to a legal review or legal scholars looking at something and deciding that either it does or does not adhere to well-established legal precedents, either that can be going on, and that means that there could be an imminent breakup or some new start that doesn't really make it right now, or there can be a quick change due to the fact that there can be some plan in place that has been going on for quite a long time, and if it meets high expectations, then it can be very well received. And that might be the idea of parents agreeing on some plan that means that they're handing over some sort of power or designation of responsibility to somebody younger, but it's all based on love, loyalty, and a willingness to make sacrifices. So those quick changes can be coming about for different reasons, but it does mean that they can be possible right now. And if there is somebody around with a rather large ego that has been grandstanding or has been overconfident, they too could suffer severe recriminations right now, particularly for their activities behind the scenes that have been hidden from view. Maybe they're not going to be hidden from view any longer. And in fact, if a leader falls right now, their financial fortunes will really plummet even further. And that simply means that if they fall, neither their reputation nor their bank account will ever recover. So all of that is possible as well. All right, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, this is a time when you have to be super careful because there can be some sort of severe challenge coming your way. And if it isn't involving you directly, Aries, it could involve a partner, because remember, Mars is in the sign of partnership, Libra, and it is opposing Uranus in your sign very strongly. And that simply means that there can be a breakup that is imminent, or there is the possibility that that could occur in a contract. Maybe a contract isn't going to make it any longer either because of severe challenges. Or there is the possibility, Aries, that there is just some strong power either by a large corporation or a government agency, and if they can change and reduce a budget in one way or another, that too could affect you. So this is a time when you need to be very, very careful, Aries. And if you are suffering some sort of severe challenge right now, or you know someone else who is doing that, I hope that instead you can be very high-minded, because the 4 planets in Sagittarius do all trine your sun, and so does the moon in Leo. You can be very popular right now, Aries. And when Mars leaves Libra on Saturday and no longer opposes your sun sign, there is the possibility that something could sort of fizzle out and maybe you could just sort of get over it instead. So I hope that is the case. All right, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, there are some planets that are in harsh aspect to your sun sign, and so that means you're not going to quite get everything your way, Taurus. And that is because even though Pluto in Capricorn is trining your sun, which means your long-term and career prospects are looking pretty good, and there can be people high up in management that do like the way you work, still, the moon in Leo is squaring your sun today, and that means that the spotlight could be on someone else, maybe a child or a loved one. And it could be that they have expensive needs, and this is the holiday season, so you may be challenged. Your budget may be somewhat challenged by providing for others right now. And also, Mars is going to move into Scorpio on Saturday, joining Jupiter there, and they will both be opposing your sun sign. And that is another indication that you need to be very careful, Taurus. And you know, don't try to cheat the tax man right now, because they could really come after you. Or if you have been trying to get more credit, you might be able to get it, but if interest rates go up, that too could be more costly for you. So that's why you just have to be a little bit careful and try not to get too extravagant right now, Taurus, because it could be very costly. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, this is a time with Mars at the 29th degree of Libra, trining your sun, and with Uranus in Aries, sextiling your sun, that if there is some sort of severe challenge or sudden breakup of some sort, you could probably benefit from that in one way or another. You would not be causing it, but all I'm saying is that if it happens to somebody else, that might leave some sort of an opening for you instead, Gemini, so that would be great. But you still have a whole lot that you've got to overcome, and it could be quite difficult for you to do that right now, because the 4 planets in Sagittarius all oppose your sun sign, and one of them is your own ruler, Mercury, which is retrograde right now or going backward. So there may have to be some sort of a issue that involves higher education or religion or philosophy or the courts or international organizations that you will really have to address, because these problems could almost be parked on your doorstep right now, Gemini, or be influencing you somewhat adversely. And so you have to be a little bit careful, because this is really a time to be thoughtful and to let leaders who have a lot of moral and spiritual integrity make wise decisions. In other words, this isn't the time for chit-chat, Gemini, which you're very good at. Conversation is ruled by your sign, but this is the time really to let others who are extremely thoughtful and perhaps expert in areas of the law, let them do their thing, because they don't need input from you. What they need to do is sort something out right now and make sure that matters are following the strict adherence to legal precedent, already established legal precedent. So there are matters that are more important than you right now, Gemini, that are going on, and if I were you, I would just be a little bit quiet and stand back and hope for the best. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer, this is a time when matters can be coming to a head, and that can be legally, or it could be in a partnership, or it could involve some sort of new beginning that is facing severe challenges, and you may be involved in that in one way or another, because Mars in Libra is squaring your sun, and it's at the fateful 29th degree now, and Uranus in Aries is squaring your sun, and it's being harshly opposed by that Mars, and then Pluto in Capricorn is opposing your sun sign, and Pluto is squaring both of those malefic planets. So there's pressure on you right now, Cancer, and if it isn't on you, it's on an organization that you're associated with, or it can be on partners of yours. And the pressure, I don't think, is anything that you are causing, but you could be affected by its outcome. And that is why you just have to be real thankful that Jupiter in Scorpio is trining your sun, and so is Neptune in Pisces, and that makes these planets very strong, and they can be very supportive of you. So you do have support around, and you will have the money to make a dream come true, Cancer. And so this is a time if you were a little bit quiet right now and you did not respond to the pressure around you, that might be better for you, Cancer, because I think there's too many matters that are beyond your control and are reaching some sort of climax right now, and you can't do anything about it. So it's better if you just are real quiet and be thankful for your home and your family right now. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, the moon is in your sign today, and Uranus in Aries is trining it, and also all 4 planets, Venus, the Sun, Mercury, and Saturn in Sagittarius, are also trining your sun, where you have the moon today. And so there can be an awful lot of light on you, Leo, and it can be rather favorable. But still, we have to adhere to a recognition of the stellium of planets, those 4 planets in Sagittarius that are so strong right now. And that simply means, since Mercury is one of them and it is retrograde, and Uranus is another planet in a fire sign which is trining yours, and it too is retrograde, that there is the possibility in your life, Leo, that something is going to have to get reviewed or redone, or could be facing some sort of challenge. And at the same time, you have so much support that if you were sort of doing everything right now, a lot of people could think that your actions could be very well received. They would be happy about that. But if you've been grandstanding or you've been a little too overconfident and you've been hiding a few things behind the scenes, you could suffer severe recriminations because there is so much light on you. In other words, everybody could see what you're doing. So I hope you're doing exactly the right thing right now, Leo, because then you could enjoy the wonderful support from others. And you could be hearing some news from people in a foreign country, and that could be even long delayed news that could hearten you right now. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, this is a time when it's sort of the dark before the dawn. And the reason why I say that is because the 4 planets in Sagittarius are all squaring your sun, and that means Venus, the Sun, Mercury, your own ruler, which is retrograde, and Saturn at the fateful 29th degree of Sagittarius are squaring your sun. And that simply means that you can be facing a lot of challenges, and you know something is coming to a head, or something has to be reviewed and redone. And so that's what I mean. You could be feeling challenged, and that could represent the dark before the dawn. And at the same time, Neptune in Pisces, a 5th planet, is opposing your sun sign. And so you may not know who to believe, you may not know who to trust, and you can certainly be having to fend off challenges, whether they're true or not right now, that can be making you feel somewhat beleaguered. But remember, I said it's the darkness before the dawn. When will the dawn come? Well, it will come as early as Saturday. And that is because Mars is going to leave Libra, where it is in harsh opposition to Uranus in Aries, and it will go into Scorpio, and that is a guarantee, since it rules the sign, that justice will be done. And Mars has 2 rulers. The other is Pluto. Pluto is in Capricorn right now, trining your sun. So the tide is about to turn for you, Virgo, but I don't think that you are too happy right now due to challenges and to untrustworthy people that are around. And so this is a time when, if there is a quick change, I hope it's not you that's making it, Virgo. You need to quietly stand your ground. My advice to you, since we're so close to the holidays, is if you can go on vacation and just walk out and close the door, you ought to try to do that. Or even call in sick. That would relieve some of the pressure as well. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, Mars is in your sign at the fateful 29th degree. On Saturday, it will leave your sign. That will give you a big sigh of relief, Libra. But for right now, it is opposing Uranus in Aries, and Mars is a malefic planet. It's not at home in your sign because your sign is ruled by Venus. And so since Mars is opposing Uranus in Aries, there is some sort of new beginning that you might be involved with, Libra, that is going to have to be redone, and it could be having to be reviewed by the courts or by legal scholars. And it can be also that there can be some quick change because a partnership breaks up suddenly, or the terms of a contract could change quite suddenly. And so you have all of that to look forward to, and Pluto in Capricorn is squaring your Sun at the same time. So since there are no other planets in the air signs except this Mars at the fateful 29th degree, I think this is a time, Libra, when you really need to just hold on for dear life. And that is because you may not know what the outcome is going to be of some sort of quick change. And yet I can guarantee you that as of Saturday, when Mars does leave your sign and goes into Scorpio, that justice will be done. And that could turn out to be in your favor. And so for right now, if you feel as if you are being severely challenged, try to take a deep breath or step back or realize that this too will pass. And because I don't think the outcome is that you can really see what the outcome is of a quick change right now, you're going to have to be really patient and have more faith right now that things will work out better for you, because I think they will eventually. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, this is a time with Jupiter in your sign being trine by Mars in by Neptune in Pisces, that you could be able to think a lot more about making a dream come true, because you may have more money coming your way, which is great. So yours is a fixed financial sign. But when Mars comes into your sign and it's your own ruler on Saturday and begins to sextile your other ruler, Pluto in Capricorn, you may be more involved in a matter that concerns justice and survival. And that's fine, because you'll do very well with that, Scorpio, as long as you haven't been grandstanding or overconfident or doing something behind the scenes that you don't want other people to know about, because believe me, they will find that out. Remember, Neptune is direct right now in Pisces, but it is trining your Sun. We all have to be aware of the things, though, that Sagittarius rules, and Sagittarius is right ahead of your Sun sign, and that means there are 4 planets right ahead of your Sun sign. They're certainly being trined by the Moon in Leo and by Uranus in Aries, so you may be able to see something that is up for some sort of judicial review, or that legal scholars can be looking at, and it can be related to some sort of new beginning that may or may not adhere to legal precedence that has already been established. So you may be able to see things around you that are going on at a pretty high level. And as long as we have leaders who can make wise decisions based on moral or spiritual integrity, things will work out. So for right now, Scorpio, if I were you, I would thank my lucky stars for your good financial fortune, and yet at the same time I would be really, really quiet, because I don't think, with all the emphasis in the fire signs, that there's much that you can do to change things right now. So rather than get involved with them, it might be a little bit more prudent if you stood back and waited to see what the fallout was first. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarius? Well, Sagittarius, there are 4 planets in your sign, a stellium of planets. And because there are all 4 in your sign, Venus, the Sun, Mercury, and Saturn, which is at the 29th degree now, and they are being fortified by Uranus in Aries and by the Moon in Leo today, I would say that it's you that's got to make up your mind about something, Sagittarius. Maybe it's something that involves a new beginning that is subject to review or revision according to whatever a well-established legal precedence is. Well, that is something that you could be instrumental or be affected by in one way or another. And I think there is the possibility that that something is going to have to be redone. And so if a new beginning has gotten off the ground, it might fizzle out, or it may run into trouble and severe challenges and not endure in its present state. But it might be you that is deciding, well, to work on it a little bit, or to think about it a little bit, or to consult other people, and you might be helpful in getting something going down the road. So I think that this is actually a time of strength for you, Sagittarius, and you can be quite popular right now because of the support in the fire sign. So I think you're heading into a pretty good holiday, and you can anticipate a heavy burden being lifted from your shoulders rather soon, certainly no later than Christmas. So you are looking at better fortunes next year. All right, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, this is a time when you have to be very careful because you could be facing some sort of imminent partnership breakup or some sort of legal decision that is a little bit up in the air but is being severely threatened or challenged right now, and it may involve a new beginning. And the reason is that Mars in Libra is opposing Uranus in Aries, but they're both squaring Pluto in your sign. And so I think this is a time, since there are no planets in the other earth signs, that you need to watch your step a little bit, Capricorn, and be very quiet and very careful right now, because you really cannot afford financially or in any other way, which means your reputation as well, you cannot afford to get involved in any severe challenge that anybody is facing right now. And you need to stay out of one yourself if you can, Capricorn. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, Mars is at the fateful 29th degree of Libra, and it is trining your Sun. And so there can be a legal or partnership issue that is certainly coming to a head right now. And, you know, Mars is trining your Sun. That should be a good aspect, but that Mars is under such severe duress, it's challenging or opposing Uranus in Aries right now, meaning that some new beginning is going to either fizzle out or face severe challenges or be subject to legal review in some way. And you could be affected by that because Uranus is the ruler of your sign, Aquarius. So this is not the time to get in a fight with anybody. You should try to stand back and try not to do anything that could be subject to any kind of scrutiny right now. Just try to do your very best and think about the future right now. But I wouldn't make any hasty actions right now. They might backfire, Aquarius. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, if there is a quick change, it could involve a sort of a well-established plan that's been in the works for a long time that does meet with a lot of people's approval because it meets high expectations. That could be nice. And it may or may not involve you. I don't think it involves you directly, but it could be something that you benefit from eventually. However, if there is instead some sort of a change that represents a harsh legal challenge or a partnership breakup, or something where it has to be subject to a legal review before it can be decided upon, then you might be affected by that, and not directly, but once again, if something happens to somebody else, it could sort of boil over and affect you right now, Pisces. However, Jupiter in Scorpio is trining your Sun, and by Saturday, Mars is going to come into Scorpio and trine your Sun as well. And so there can be an element of justice that can work in your favor, certainly over the holidays or by early next year. But in the meantime, if I were you, I would not act on any misinformation, and I wouldn't try to mislead anybody right now, because hidden activities are coming out in the open right now. And if people can find out about any of your hidden activities, it may not reflect favorably upon you, Pisces. That's why I'm telling you that you should really keep a very low profile right now and try to be as quiet as you can. All right, thanks for tuning in. Remember, you can see the show and hear our podcast if you want to subscribe to it on our website, starborninstitute.org. Bye.